I never pull this on any of the movies we've watched, but I could not give a fuck about any of the people in this movie or even the woman who made it.
Ah,
Yeah.
I'm going to second that, which is my first reaction to the film. Don't forget, I'm in a band. I see dickheads like this every goddamn week.
And you had
This
to
film is
watch two
this film
hours of
is populated by
He
these.
had 2,500 hours worth of
Uh,
film, of
yeah.
video to choose from.
Uh,
I'm like, I can barely watch 2 hours of it.
these guys are the most obviously talented. But they're smug. They're ironic in a bad way. They don't take anything seriously. They're actually, it's weirdly enough, I thought this film was a lot like Amadeus because it's about seriously.
Without
These
classical
guys started out the
music.
same way. They're both talented,
Mhm.
Anton and fuck, what's his name?
Courtney.
Courtney,
Brian.
yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
one has got his shit together. The one is like can't channel it
Well,
properly.
this is
Diverge.
the movie is about the contrast
Yes.
between people who have their shit together and
And
people
people
who
who don't.
don't.
Yeah, it's about the
For sure.
separation.
You guys
These
want
guys
to see
start out the
wait,
same.
wait. You want to see the punchline to all
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
What?
So, because I keep track of this shit, I pulled this. This is subsequent months,
Mhm.
October and November. Both of these bands are playing the exact same fucking venue.
Of course.
That's this year, right?
That is like 8 weeks from
That's-
now. After
he's-
all of this,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're
They-
still
No,
together.
the most
Yeah.
amazing thing, about this movie is that we are what are we now? 21 years since this movie came out,
Yes.
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
every one of these people is still alive.
Which
Yeah,
is
I know.
amazing. Yeah.
Not just that. Brian Jonestown Massacre just played one of the big stages at Glastonbury.
Yeah.
Well,
Andy Warhol
and
sells
they're
out
back.
the
Oh, no,
Fillmore
there's been a
every
lot, but
fucking year.
but there's been a
And
lot of
wasn't there a
and
fist
they're
fight in
mostly-
23, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
these guys. It's basically it's still these two jokers and then whoever they've got around them.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
like he kind of got his shit together. And again, the thing that I find fascinating is at the end of this movie, you would think Danny Warhol's go on to fame and fortune, and these guys become all no. They met in the fucking same spot. They are I looked.
They're at the same level.
Same fucking venues.
Yeah.
Every
Same
goddamn tour.
Right.
They're literally peers in terms of reach and size of audience.
Yeah.
Nothing
Danny
has
They're
Warhol-
still
changed.
doing it.
Well,
Yeah.
The Dandy Warhols have way more money.
they do. They did.
They do because
They
they
hit
were
earlier.
really smart early. But
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think
Well, they
it's
had
first off
management that
for a
worked.
'90s band, like
That's
a
right,
'90s
Jim.
a '90s alt rock for a '90s alt rock band to still be consistently able to draw, even like the Fillmore's like it's 1,000 people. Like
Mhm.
that's not terrible.
Yeah.
Like these they're still making a living playing music after
Well,
all this time, and you cannot say that about most of the other bands
Yeah.
from that.
well, you know what? The one thing
You
about
can't
this
say that about most of the bands that are mentioned in this movie.
exactly. Well, mind you, this is a musical moment. These guys were the last guys in the door before they burned the entire thing down with Napster. It's like these guys were the last. They have A&R people trying to sign them to big labels. They don't do that shit anymore. And so
Right.
these
Right.
guys
Yes, they
got in
do,
there,
but- yes,
the
they do, but
last
they do
guys
it-
in,
Yes, they
and
do, but they do it for rap now.
they do it for rap now. It's a different kind of.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of thing.
And
But
they just work
Also,
rap into every fucking
I-
genre.
I
Yeah.
tend to.
I saw these guys in '98.
I was
Oh,
gonna,
I
I was
believe it.
gonna say,
Uh-huh.
I was gonna say, how many of these concerts is Chris in the background?
You're
I'm
right.
sure.
Exactly.
A few.
Like when they show Bottom of the Hill, I'm like, oh, I played that stage. Like,
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
like
I
I got
almost
out of the
did.
scene right before these bands showed up, kind of. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I fucking love this. I love these kinds of movies. I watch as many of them as I can, and I didn't think like, yeah, these people are.
They're a bunch of giant
Pain in the
assholes. Every
ass.
last one of them.
But most of the
Oh.
bands in their 20s, like the number of bands in their the members are in their 20s who think they're the greatest band in the universe. It's a long list. Like that's
Uh-huh.
a phase that all bands kind of go through. Like they become insufferable pricks in love with their own shit, and a lot of them get knocked down back to earth. But again, for me, the most remarkable thing is flash forward to 2025, they're still at it, and
Yeah.
like, and I know that like I've read a couple of articles, like the DVD of this movie contains 3 commentary tracks, one by the filmmaker, one by the Dandies and one by.
By
I
Brian
will
Jonestown.
go back
Yeah.
and watch this whole thing again with those commentary
Now,
tracks.
one of the things that they established early on in this film, and this is beginning the thing where they're kind of like neck and neck, both indie bands, actually all ones, all psychedelic. Actually, they're very similar in a lot of ways.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Extremely similar.
Yeah, very similar. And so
It reminded me of Rain
they started out.
Parade.
We had a lot of people commenting.
Rain Parade, yeah.
Yeah, you have a lot of people commenting.
I
a little louder.
Like he's an absolute fucking banger.
Yeah,
grungier.
Yeah, a lot of people commenting that the guy was head of the Brian Jonestown. What's his name again?
Antoine.
Yeah, he's an incredibly talented, one of the most amazing, most talented artists I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
He's great. He's fantastic. And and the thing is, you establish that just through a lot of interviews like that. And so you have to. That's the premise. You have to believe that, because I swear to God, you watch this film, every live music venue sounds like shit.
Yeah.
Counterpoint.
Yeah.
Music was terrible in the 90s.
Well, that's a point taken, but I disagree. Either way, also John said one thing about this era too, is that this is when rock bands didn't know what they were.
Yeah.
Well, they both have these like kind of silly, ironic,
overly
band names that they took from. Right, one's making fun of, or one is
they're portmanteaus.
Yeah. And so that's funny. And yeah, Chris just mentioned. I just thought that band literally has the most standout visual person is just this tambourine player guy who like kind of walks around half, high, and
this band called
who's
Ride.
constantly trying to quit.
Right.
But I'm like, I was just like, can a band really just have a tambourine player? I guess they can.
Have you ever seen Happy Mondays or Bez?
Yeah.
So I'm seeing Ride at the Warfield 2015 when that band got back together for the first time. And out of nowhere, they're about to play Leave Them All Behind, which is one of their biggest fucking hits. And out comes this fucking guy with a tambourine.
I mean, that guy is literally a haircut and a pair of glasses, dude. That's it.
Half the guys in this movie are haircuts and pair of glasses.
But he's also
big wraparound glasses half the time.
But he's also the guy who's fucking smart.
Yeah.
And the one who gets sent to do the actual A&R negotiation.
Yeah.
And he seems to kind of be the one that Anton can stomach the most.
Throat or something. He has an ear.
Anton has an ear infection. He has an ear infection.
No, that guy's he's an Anton whisperer. He's the guy in the band who keeps things going.
Yeah, and so he's at the meeting with the record company execs, and the phone rings, and it's Anton, and you're just all like waiting for him to blow it on the phone.
Yeah.
Like they're just
he comes this close to blowing it a couple of times.
Right.
This is my first. That the owner of TVT has a sense of humor.
Yeah.
If he didn't have a sense of humor, they would have been out on their fucking asses.
Sticking his head into the accountant's door and saying, "You're going to have a lot of money to count, man."
This movie was a car crash I could not look away from.
That's exactly it, Chris. It's exactly what it's a train wreck movie. That's what
that one guy who quit, Matt, was actually. I mean, this is the most
Hollywood.
I've known about
Matt Hollywood.
The
Brian Jonestown massacre. He seemed like a really talented dude as well. Though, like he
left quickly.
He was more level-headed, and he was writing a lot of the stuff. He was singing really well.
No. The smartest one is Peter, who left to form Black
Rebel Motorcycle Club.
Yeah.
Which is a better band than either of these bands.
Yeah, it probably is.
I disagree with you. I want to say that I don't really like the Brian Jonestown Massacre, and I love the Dandy Warhols. So I came into this movie with a bias to begin with, and my bias was not gotten rid of.
All right, if we're going to actually talk about the quality of the music here, Tad, this is my take, which is that yes, they were extremely similar when they started. And that was sort of like a combination of 60s British psychedelia, only like a little grungier, almost like a Velvet Underground kind of a thing, right? Sure. So yeah, they were almost indistinguishable. Like my parents couldn't have told these two bands apart in a million years. But then as they went on, they diverged. And the way they diverged for me was the Dandy Warhols got slicker and much more popular and less interesting as they went on.
I disagree.
Whereas, okay, you are allowed to disagree, but that's my take. And and when I started recognizing the songs off the radio, I was like, oh yeah, that's not a great song. But then there's the other band, the Brian Jonestown Massacre, and he took it more like, okay, he's like getting out of psychedelia and he's going folk with the harmonica and kind of a Bob Dylan thing, which is also not interesting to me. So to me, it was like the early stuff is the best stuff.
But it's almost like Sid Barrett without the LSD, though. It's like this guy did not want to conform. Anton he really was listening to the music in his head all the time, which is fascinating. I think
he is the Mozart in this.
Yeah, he's the Mozart, and the Mozart Salieri thing,
and the heroin in his arm.
Yeah, and also but one thing about these things is I think that these guys are basically I think they all thought they're great artists, and they probably were, because they made songs like the Bohemian song that Dandy Warhol did. I know that one. I know a bunch of Dandy Warhol songs, but
I really like some Brian Jonestown songs a lot.
Yeah, there's a point in this film where you realize that these guys don't realize they're actually destined to be middle level pop stars.
Right.
That's it.
Well, so
these are pop bands, basically. I want to
say something. I want to say something though.
Go ahead.
Like, because you guys have brought this up multiple times now.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with you about both of them thinking they're great.
Okay.
Because Courtney Taylor says over and over and over again in this movie, they're better than us. They make better music than we do.
This is true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, this guy's the actual genius, but he can't get out of his own fucking way.
That's the last interview with him.
Even when we tried
to
get them on our label, when we tried to give him a hand up out of the gutter, which is a thing that gets repeated at several points in the movie, is how they're
you see him in the gutter, which is a great documentary thing.
Yeah, when he falls down. Yeah. and he's like, this guy's a better musician than I am. He's a better songwriter than I am. Like, he knows.
Yeah.
But what he's not, what he is like, is we're all married. We have kids. Like, we're making music to make money.
Yeah.
So that, because it's a job. Mm-hmm. And like, they can't do that.
Because Anton is he's pursuing the music in his head.
Weirdly, Anton was also obsessed with Courtney. It was like they each,
which is a great.
They each envied what the other one had.
Yeah, I know.
He didn't have.
Yeah.
No,
right.
Courtney
envies
like we're having fun, and when we fuck up, then it's just funny.
Yeah,
like, that's the perfect.
So is the other interesting thing here that Anton, self-sabotages, obviously he's got all these problems, but he's sort of like, how that tortured artist, like the geniuses are always the most messed up ones.
Yeah.
Right.
I think maybe the other irony with this film is like, he wasn't that much of a genius though, to be that messed up and such an asshole.
I agree. I agree with you. I've always found the reason I don't like, BJM.
Like if you are Mozart, you can be fucking crazy as shit. Sorry.
Right.
Again, that's all your Mozart thing comes up over and over again.
The reason I don't like BJM is because I find them to be pretentious. Like, I find the music that they make to be pretentious, and which there is no pretense with the Dandy Warhols.
No.
The Dandy Warhols are basically just a party band.
They're heading to pop. They were heading to pop. They know they're heading to pop. They did head.
And every so often they would hit one out of the park when they start talking about 13 Tales and the hook of Godless starts. I got fucking chills. I got literal chills because that song can take me immediately back to the exact moment in my life when I first heard it.
Yeah.
When I'm 17 years old and I am applying for colleges. Like, school has just ended and that fucking song came out, and it was like, I know exactly where I was and what I was doing the first time I heard that song. And I never had that from a Brian Jonestown song.
Now, David,
no substitute for that.
David's in my band. We both seen this film before, right? And we talked about it afterwards after I saw it. And he said the exact same thing you did. He said every song in this thing, even though they're like recorded live on stage, everything sounds like shit. In fact, it's like you have to take it on faith that they're saying that Anton and Brian Jones had a great album, because you never hear any great songs out of them in the film. But Godless was an amazing song.
Yeah,
that's the thing. That's where the 747 took off at that point in this film, and it was like I said that, and he said that's exactly how I felt. So
there were 13 Tales of Modern Bohemia.
until
Also,
that
the
song into
Bohemian song is good
commercial.
too, but that only because it was really popular and it like you know the thing
13
about this
Tales
film,
of Modern Bohemia is a masterpiece.
Yeah,
in
it
my
is.
opinion.
Absolutely.
I think that album is a fucking
yeah,
masterpiece.
Great.
one of the things because of that, that's because that was picked up by Vodafone and used in European ads. They talk about the element of luck. Remember, these guys got busted down in Atlanta.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it was like,
No, we're the lucky band. They're the unlucky.
I know,
Yes,
it's like,
yeah.
and that's spooky shit, man.
Yeah.
We haven't talked at all about like the movie that we watched, and I would also just think that I really thought that the style was 100%. I mean, I know maybe it was accidental, but I just felt like the filmmaking style and the editing cadence and just the way it was put together perfectly matched the music I was listening to. So I like
Yeah.
that. They
Yes.
just
I thought it was a little long. I think this movie could be
Yeah,
shorter.
it was shot on.
It could be it could be
Super 8
shorter.
inch.
Ironically, there's a way longer version.
There
of
is
it.
the
Right,
20th
there's one
anniversary
that was
version is actually
40
40 minutes
minutes.
longer. Oh
Oh,
my God.
no, thank you.
But you know the background of the filmmaker, Ondi, what's her name?
Ondi Timoner.
Ondi
She's
Timoner.
she's an heiress. Her father
Yeah.
started Florida Airlines, so she has all the money.
That's why she could hang out with the bands for 7 years.
7 years.
7 years,
There's this huge hidden.
That's why
budget
he's
here.
like, you
Was
have
she
your,
gonna-
you have your California ID. Let's go pawn my guitar. So we
That
have
was
$300.
great.
Yeah,
That
and she's
scene-
filming it all, saying I don't have to worry about actually my next meal because
I kept thinking
I got all the
about,
money in the world. So her
Well, I
project.
kept thinking about Boyhood watching this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
It's
Okay,
like
but
this
here's the question.
endlessly stretched out filmmaking process.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The thing is, if
Anton
you-
is older by the end of the film.
The
Yeah.
question is, now that you know, if you know now the filmmaker is just basically an heiress with a video
Care
camera,
less.
who doesn't have to worry about budget or talking to producers or anything like that. Do you think that she loved these bands, or she hated these bands, or you simply pity these guys?
I think she
I think
knew she had something interesting watching these two bands do this.
She
Right,
got lucky, man.
I think she loved them. I think
you're right. She was a
completely in
groupie,
love.
basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she could afford to be a super groupie, but flying around and documenting them.
Yeah,
for, like,
some of the stuff she got, I couldn't believe. I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't believe they allowed her to shoot this.
also
stuff.
some of the
That's
fight.
what makes this
Well,
picture
you see the
remarkable
cameras
is that there's
hidden.
just access to everything.
The
Everything's
camera's
on,
hidden
everything's
at
on tape.
certain points
Where?
too.
Where?
Like there's when the French cops are there, you can see the camera's like inside something.
Yeah, that's right.
'Cause-
There's a lot.
she's got
There's
them-
There's a lot of like where like there's that
It's
Yeah,
vignetted.
little
It's a lot of it's
fisheye.
vignetted.
Yeah.
Of course, that was DV. They used to have a thing you could pull the
there's,
lens
like-
out for a wide angle, and you
They're
could
doing.
get
Oh,
vignetted.
yeah.
She's got shots of them doing blow and like just
Yeah.
A
crazy.
lot of blow.
like-
Jesus Christ, these
She
guys
was
had money
part,
back then.
she was basically part of their touring
Mhm.
group in
Yeah.
both which
Yeah.
is that's the amazing part to me, is that she keeps treading this line between the two bands and is somehow able to keep doing this.
Yeah.
Like, because you don't get that a lot in stuff like this, where there is this sort of like weird rivalry, and like I know some of that's punched up for the film too. Both
Sure.
bands have talked about it. Like, this is a movie, not a documentary.
Yeah.
But the fact that she was able to continually have access to both of these bands in the way that she did for 7 years is
Great.
pretty fucking heroic.
Yeah.
Like that's
It was a life's project for a long
I
time.
wish one of these existed for Oasis v Blur.
But like I said, it's like imagine if you
yeah,
were
but
a
it would just be
documentary
people
filmmaker.
calling each other cunts.
I'll watch that.
And
Yeah,
they're both
the-
sitting on piles of money.
Yeah, being a
Right.
documentary filmmaker and not have to worry about raising money for your film. I mean, that's where the great. That's
But how much do you think this movie costs?
It does. You know what?
$40?
Budget is irrelevant.
This movie
because-
cost that woman's sanity.
because
I bet.
all she had to do was go
Yeah.
down with a DV camera for 7
That's what I
years.
mean. Like, you're not
And
spending any
basically,
money making
that's
it.
the
It's
budget.
not.
There's no, she didn't hire anybody. She just did it herself. She had all
She's
she probably hired everybody then.
The editing
hired
probably
the-
cost the most.
yeah, and she
she's
paid for
flying
all of it.
over the-
Again, this kid
she's
was
flying all
crazy
over
rich.
the place.
Mhm.
She's flying all over the place.
Mhm.
She's
She has
not
to stay wherever they're
working.
staying.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, she's flying. She's flying to a big thing in Europe and like whole nine yards. It's nothing. So there's a hidden budget in this film. It's huge.
Based on
Huh?
what what's her name from the Dandy Warhol said, I'll bet she had to buy a bunch of drugs at various points.
Probably
in this.
all that blow we saw on the table. She probably provided. It's like,
Right,
okay,
right,
this is
right.
going to be a great scene. Okay,
Mhm.
and action.
Like I said, I love these kinds of movies. I watch as many of them as I can. I missed this one. I'm glad John picked it. I thought it was fucking awesome.
Oh, you hadn't seen this, Chris?
No, I was
I
like,
didn't see it.
damn, I love this.
I hadn't seen it either, and this.
I'm sure it has some resonance for you.
Well, when I was considering going into filmmaking, I wanted to be a documentary filmmaker. And like this is the kind of movie that I would love to make as a documentary filmmaker, is just these fucking weirdos who are in their own world, who are like have this weird rivalry with one another, and like, but they're doing something cool, like, and like that's the kind of movie that I would love to make. I would love to make a movie like this about strange people doing strange shit.
Yeah,
like,
that's an argument.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you've shown us a couple of those, like the guy with the goat glands and things like that.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
This is what I was saying. This is what I was saying. John's wandering into my corner of the show.
Well, it had been a while, Tad, so I thought it was time. I really rolled the dice on these two because I had not seen either of them.
Oh, I love this.
Also, it's like, because you just told us that these guys are playing somewhere in the neighborhood.
No, like literally
a month apart.
They're both on tour right this second.
So, in other words, have they become nostalgia acts?
Well, I mean, the Dandies still they
Probably.
both make music, but I mean, like no one releases full albums to the degree that they did in the '90s because there's like kind of no point.
No one's paying for them.
Yeah. But they're still neither one of these bands ever really stopped. Now, Anton got his shit together. Like you can actually, he's actually pretty. He was at the time. I remember being a really good Twitter follow when he was on Twitter. He was really interesting, but like I said, the Brian Jonestown is in freaking Europe. They're both in Europe right now, coming back to America in the fall to play all the same flipping venues.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Also, you think these guys are in this documentary, so I guess they're kind of joined at the hip for the rest of their lives, basically.
Oh, yes. Forever.
Yeah.
Right?
They're joined at the hips for the rest of their lives, and they will beat the ever-loving fuck out of each other.
Oh no,
if they see
it's
each
definitely
other
it's not like a friendly thing. It's like basket case. It's like, okay, there it is. All right, well,
I have a question for Jim. Because Jim said at the top of this, you said at the top of this that you hated everybody in this movie. Did you enjoy the movie at all? Or was it just an ordeal?
I drifted in and out of liking it. It was sort of an interesting, car wreck going slow, especially the guy behind Chris, not Anton, but
oh yeah,
Courtney,
the haircut,
Joel, I guess.
Sideburns guy.
Sideburns guy. I've hung out with musicians enough to know that they're all fucking Looney Tunes, but these guys sort of took it to a new level.
I do feel like Courtney comes across as being a much more normal human being.
He is
in this movie.
No, if you're gonna compare the landscape
you
of Anton and Courtney, they're just like they're a little bit different.
Anton is always acting. You
And
get the feeling that Anton is really
normal. The other guitar player, very normal.
Yeah, you do.
Whereas
he really is.
Warhol's guy, Courtney, he's like, okay, so there's a time to be crazy, artistic, whatever, and there's a time to
there's a time to make money.
Don't shit on the record guy's desk.
Right.
I thought it was cool to see Dave LaChapelle because I didn't know what he looked like or what his work is incredible, and I was like,
little tirade's pretty funny.
He's easily upsettable. It looks like.
Well, no. Well, I don't know. I think he had a right to be.
No, he was legitimate.
I don't know. We never see Courtney do any of the things that he says in that.
I know,
but he quotes Courtney saying, "I've made thousands of music videos." He said he literally said thousands, and it's like
who knows if he made that? Who knows if he made that up? Because he's also a lunatic.
But he did strike me as someone who would probably be hard to work with, but. His work is incredible. I mean, he's so talented.
Oh, he is.
Well, that video is great.
It is.
That's a great fucking video.
It is.
Make note, download music videos. We can put in
both of those, both of their videos. The Not If You're the Last Junkie on Earth and Bohemian Like You are terrific.
Yeah, really good. Yeah. Also, Courtney Taylor is extraordinarily handsome. I
Yes.
think
Oh, yeah, he's
both these
super
guys, him
photogenic.
and Anton, are both really good looking, except for the you get the stupid mutton chops going. But you know,
I don't.
it's half of what being a front man is.
Yeah.
I know that from experience. You know, being a front,
Courtney really knows it, and he works it in the videos. And
yes, he
stuff.
does. Yeah,
Yes.
and
He's
so
really
that's
good
part of
that
it.
way. He
Also,
looks very pretty
I thought
in
the
it.
most
Got his
annoying
good
character in
side.
there was the guy on Brian Jonestown who looked like he was trying to do a 24/7 John Lennon impression.
Yeah.
With the round glasses and the hair, and it's like
That was Matt.
he didn't act
Matt.
like him, but he looked like him all the time. I just want to strangle him after.
Well, that's
The one that quit on stage.
the one that quit on stage. Yes,
I guess like yeah. I think
Who also sings their best song.
he does.
Yeah.
right. One of the bottom lines for me with this doc that exposes it, like both these bands are good. They're not bad bands,
No.
but they're not good enough to act this way at all.
Well,
Like,
no, somebody says it. It might be Courtney, but yeah, they started acting out and going all crazy and like being an artiste before they made it.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
it wasn't
no.
Courtney. It was the
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
It was the
Yeah.
model that sang
It's the
with
model,
them.
yeah.
She was like, all these bands did this in the '60s, but they were famous first, and
were
then they went
famous
crazy.
first,
Yeah, right.
Like
Right.
you can't just come out crazy and then want to get like never
Yeah.
it never
You have to
happens.
be hungry first.
Yeah,
then
it's sold in
crazy
the record. You
afterwards.
can't trash a hotel room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Right.
And Courtney at one point is like, these guys were doing all the drugs we were singing about.
Right.
yeah.
He's literally like, we're posers. Like
He admits
it's
it.
not.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
waiting a song about heroin. We're not doing heroin.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I said,
No.
it's like
And what's that song about? It's
Yeah.
about how fucking passe being a heroin addict
Right.
is.
Right.
Yeah.
well, the Dandy Warhols
Like-
are simply a band that found their own level. You know, they got to where they need
Right.
to be.
Yeah.
Well,
And
you've
and
just described every fucking gangster rap group,
Yeah,
ever. Like
yeah.
there were some guys that really,
with the exception of a couple.
with the exception of a couple, like 50 Cent and Eazy-E, but most of them just
Ghostface-
rapped about it.
Uh-huh.
And
Ghostface was leaving the
They weren't
recording.
criminals.
They weren't criminals.
Ghostface was leaving the recording because his pager would go off and he had to go sell someone crack and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
come back and record the 36 chambers.
Hey,
Like,
hey, that's
Yeah,
that's,
there's
that's credibility, man. Come on,
there's a
that's
dozen
red.
that were really doing it, but
Uh-huh.
a lot. I mean,
I
I
did
wouldn't
like
call
the
them
woman
posers
in the
either. They're
crack
just
t-shirt.
musicians.
All right, well, let's wrap it up. I think we've
I loved it. I will watch this again with the commentary tracks.
I was never
I think it's
bored.
like
I
this.
hated everybody. There's-
I'm with you, Jared. It's
I
like a
enjoyed the
C plus.
film, but I hate everybody in the films. How's that work?
I'm glad this would be
we're watching
movie.
a film. We're not judging the characters.
That's true. That's true.
In the
But then
film.
it's like every 15 minutes
Yeah,
you're going,
but the
God damn, that guy's an
If
asshole.
they
Part
had
of
been
this
more
film.
agreeable, it would have been less interesting.